Coming up on Hawk TV,
we take a look into a local animal shelter,
a 16-year-old preacher,
and Dr. Waddell's retirement.
Good morning, Hebron High School. I'm Kim Cow.
And I'm Brian Franklin. Operation Kindness is the largest no-kill shelter in North Texas, with 50 full-time employees and 2,000 volunteers who complete the same amount of hours as 17 full-time employees.
We do everything here with our volunteers. We have to. We could not do it without them. We have about 50 staff members, and most of those, they're in animal care, they're in medical, they're taking care of our animals, but we have 300 animals here, and 50 people is not enough to take care of them on a daily basis. So we really rely on our volunteers to do everything.
I really love dogs. I adopted from a shelter, and I wanted to give back. I was like, I have so much free time. Why not help other animals that need my help?
Operation Kindness provides a relaxing atmosphere for the dogs and cats as well as the volunteers, with a typical day consisting of walking and playing with the animals.
My favorite part about volunteering is when you take the dogs out of the crates and seeing how excited they get that you can be able to get played with and walked and get the attention that they don't always get on an everyday basis.
Oh my God, it lifts my spirits. When I'm upset and I have nothing to do, I will come here and I will just sit with the puppies, and it's just, how can you be sad when there's like 10 different dogs and they're just licking you, and they're so happy and they're so bashful.
The shelter sets up an on-site adoption at the Galleria from Black Friday to Christmas Eve.
It kind of gets a different people hear about us, people that wouldn't necessarily come out to the shelter. Maybe they've never heard of Operation Kindness, they don't know where we're located, but they're at the mall doing shopping for the holidays, and so a lot of times people are looking for an animal to bring home for the holidays, and so we can help them do that right there at the Galleria.
Reporting for Hawk TV, I'm Brian Franklin. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Brian. 3 years ago, a student pursued his lifelong dream of preaching. Courtney Foster gives us a story.
As the first preacher in his family, Earl Williams Jr. started becoming a reverend 3 years ago in 2011 after having a lifelong interest. His first sermon was on February 5th, 2012.
Well, 3.5 years ago, I was called to preach. And at a young child, I would always stand in front of the church and just like read the scripture or do a Mother's Day thing for the mothers.
As a young child, Earl spent many hours with his grandmother, who took him to the church frequently, encouraging his motive to preach in the future.
So he would always go with my mom to church, and he always dressed up with the little suits and everything, and he was just always there. So I would say that she was probably like a big part of it, but it was just something about him. Ever since he was younger, he always wanted to be in the church. Always wanted to help others, and so it's just part of his character.
His teachers and friends notice his maturity for a teenager. They rave about his good-spirited character and charismatic personality.
The other reason I love Earl is we call him Preacher Man. So he's a very spiritual young man, and his morals are straight as an arrow, and the players around him really feed off that, and he's one of our best leaders on the team.
He's really caring and he's really nice. I know he cares about other people's problems and tries to be there for other people. I know he thinks of like his actions a lot and what he does.
Even with years of training, Earl still goes through a learning process on how to make preaching an official part of his life.
It was all right. Like at the beginning, I got a little nervous when I first started preaching, but now it's just, it's gotten easier just a little bit. And it's like a continued learning process.
Reporting for Hawk TV, I'm Courtney Foster. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Courtney. We'll be right back.
Do you have what it takes to be a Hebron soccer player? You gotta have the skill. Accuracy. most of all, you have to have determination.
Welcome back. The volleyball season ended with the team finishing with a 31-13 record. Let's send it over to Spencer Rojas with sports.
Thanks, Brian. After sweeping Lubbock Coronado on Friday, the volleyball team faced Amarillo in the regional finals. The Hawks fell 3-1, ending their season as regional runner-up. As their finals season came to an end, some seniors look back on the years in their volleyball program. We send it over to Reese Waddell with the story.
Every year, Hebron Volleyball graduates several players who have played all 4 years in the program. Committing that much time to the program leaves a lasting effect on many players.
Hebron Volleyball has taught me so much. It's taught me like great friendships and family and people who are there for each other all the time.
Hebron Volleyball has basically taught me work ethic, discipline. It's taught me about like who I am and like how far I can go and like how much I can push myself. Coach Keeney, amazing coach, like life coach, like coach on the court. She's just taught me a lot about what it takes to be responsible and like hard worker.
Continuing the legacy of making it past their area round of playoffs the past 5 years meant a lot to this year's seniors.
Continuing the legacy of going to the regional tournament means a lot to us just because in the past we've had state championships, and for us that just means like we're doing as much work as we can just to make it that far and continue what we're doing.
The volleyball program is one of the most successful in the state, often graduating several seniors who go on to play college volleyball. This year's seniors believe the program has prepared them well for future success.
I think skill-wise I've definitely improved so much since my freshman year. I don't think I'd be where I am today with a scholarship without Coach Keeney, honestly. Like, she's done so much for me.
Hebron Volleyball has prepared me for the future so much, for discipline and responsibility and being on time to things and hard work. Like, hard work pays off, and pushing yourself and knowing you can always do better and knowing there's always people wanting you to do better.
Reporting for Hawk Sports, I'm Reese Woodhill. Now back to the press box.
Thanks, Reese. On November 8th, the girls cross country team ran in the UIL state championship. The team finished with 68 points, beating Marcus for the first time all season by 8 points. Laura Fairchild led the team with 7th overall and a time of 18:08. The team runs in the Nike South Regional meet Saturday morning in Round Rock for a chance to qualify for the national meet. That's all for sports. I'm Spencer Rojas. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Spencer. On November 10th, Dr. Stephen Waddell announced his retirement. Sophia Kraft takes a look into the achievements and changes during his career.
From the time he joined the district as superintendent in 2011, Dr. Stephen Waddell has had a major impact on LISD students' learning by creating a new approach called strategic design. This led the district to transform the way they look at education.
I started talking about that as soon as we got here, at least not about strategic design, but what kind of schools did we want to have, facing the future that we had, what we could see the impact of technology and the flattening of the world, and were we satisfied with high stakes testing and that being the main thing that we did in education, or was there something else that we valued more? And then if there was, what would that be? And that led to our strategic design, and that's been driving everything in this district.
In the spring of 2013, Waddell began encouraging teachers to increase the use of technology in the traditional classroom setting, which inspired the 1-to-X program.
My goal of placing an iPad in every student's hand is to give them the possibility of high quality education as they can get. We go out in the workplace and it's really pretty hard. I talk to a lot of business groups, and when I do, I point out, when I start talking, I go, let's look around at these tables out here. What do we see? We see cell phones, we see iPads, we see laptops. Difficult to imagine working without them. It may seem novel to some, but it's less novel now than it was 2 years ago. We want to be on the leading edge for our students. We don't want to be playing catch up.
In recent years, testing scores have surpassed the state and national averages. Not only have LISD students succeeded academically, but they have also done well in athletics and fine arts.
We've had something like 7 state championships in athletics since I've been here. I can't take credit for any of those, but it's nice to be here when that's going on. Of course, the Hebron girls were state soccer champions just recently, and then the Hebron girls were cross-country champions as well just a couple weeks back. And the Hebron marching band finishing second in the state the last 2 times they competed, along with Marcus finishing first and Flower Mound making the finals.
To accommodate 53,000 students, Waddell has helped complete the 2008 bond project by building 4 new 9th and 10th grade campuses, in addition to renovating Louisville High School and building the West Side Aquatic Center last spring.
I am extremely proud of those buildings and to have those buildings in the hands of our kids. Now we rebuilt Louisville High School and finished the Harmon campus, which is part of the Louisville High School. Last spring, opened up the Aquatic Center. That's an unbelievable facility. I'm so proud that our kids have a chance to swim there.
While the new superintendent of LISD is unknown at this point, Waddell hopes the district will continue the standard of offering a world-class education to every one of its students.
If we're going to say that we want all of our students to enjoy thriving and productive lives in the future they create, then we always have to be evaluating, are we doing everything we can to do that? Nobody else has a job like this. Every time I'm around kids, watching them be brilliant, whether it's in academics, fine arts, athletics, or anything else that we offer for them, I'm constantly amazed. Not surprised, but amazed. I feel blessed every time. So this has been the most rewarding thing. If I have done anything to help children out, then nothing could be more to me. And I feel like in my own way I have. I feel good about that. And I feel so fortunate that I've had a chance to help young people.
Reporting for Hawk TV, I'm Sophia Kraft. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Sophia. That's it for today's broadcast. I'm Brian Franklin.
And I'm Kim Cow. Have a great rest of your day.